What is up, guys?
Hey.
Back again with another episode of Too Real with Mike and Jillian. Excited to be back with you. Why are you doing this to me? This is our second take on the intro to this episode because
Right.
Mike feels like I'm not energetic enough.
Well, because I feel like you have a Super Bowl hangover.
Oh, shut up. That's why you did this.
No, I did not.
You wanted
no,
to.
I did not. It just hit me. Not like she didn't get drunk hangover. We hosted a lot of people.
Yes. And my team did not win.
No, they didn't.
And I took it really hard. So I'm on the struggle bus today. I saw a meme. It was like, morning. Not good morning, just morning.
Just morning.
Said every Eagles fan. I won't get into my thoughts, but I think it was a great game.
Yeah.
You had two great teams playing.
Absolutely.
Looking at Jalen Hurts' takeaways about, this is all a lesson. Like, I love, even though there was a loss, like, we're taking lessons from this, and it doesn't negate the hard work that went in all season. And like I was even talking about in my family chat, like, through this season, there was so much joy, and it was a time of togetherness, and we made memories, and we enjoyed it together as a family. We brought some friends along. Like, it was a great season.
Yeah.
And don't forget all those things because you lose one game.
Yeah.
Even though it really sucks. But
it was a big one.
Yeah.
It was a big game.
Yeah.
But I can't say crap. I'm a depressed Jets fan, so.
But you were rooting along.
Yeah, I was. It was a good game. You can't say anything about it.
Yeah.
So, but I love people watching. Obviously, in our line of work, we people watch a lot, and just seeing now like the criticisms and
isn't it crazy? Like the day after any event at this point,
anything.
I always make the mistake of going onto Facebook, and then you see all the criticism.
Yeah.
Rihanna sucked. She was the worst halftime show ever. I'm like, yo, that chick is pregnant.
Right.
Singing, they recapped it. 12 hit songs, number one hit songs in 13 minutes, pregnant, suspended 150 feet in the air. I would love to see the critics jump on that and do that and then have everyone pick them apart. Like,
I wouldn't even do that with a food baby.
Like yeah.
I'm not even with a real human baby.
I was in awe of her. I was like, good for her, you know? Like, but the critics, man, they love to come out. And I'm like, as you sit alone on your couch, stuffing your face, being miserable, let's just rip everyone down along with you.
Right.
And just some of the comments, I said, why weren't they wearing blue too? Why were they only wearing red and white? Because it's real. She's not even from America. She's from Barbados.
Yeah.
Hot take. And just like trying to pull political stuff out of it. And I'm just like, at the end of the day, what halftime performance would be good enough for all of you?
Yeah.
What would suit your preferences, your favorite singer singing all your favorite songs just for you? Because they're spending millions of dollars. And I don't know if you saw the J-Lo special. I don't think you watched it with me.
No.
When she was preparing for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
There's like a year of preparation that goes into that. A lot of physical taxing, mental taxing, all that stuff. And just for someone to sit back and be like, that's not my favorite artist. They're not singing my favorite songs. It's not the way I want it to look. And I just don't like it. So it sucks.
Yeah.
And it's like someone put like a lot of time and effort and energy and everything into that. And you're just so quick to count that off. But that goes right into today's episode. I don't know that in all this conversation that we've segued into. It is all about criticism.
Yeah.
Always a critic.
Yeah.
There's always a critic.
I want to call it the evolution of criticism.
Oh, okay.
Here's why. Because I think I just long for the days. I said this before on the stage, preaching on a Sunday. Like, I miss the days where people just had like, pastor stew for lunch, where they talked about the pastor behind me behind my back, right?
Yeah.
And this sense, and I'm gonna sound real old, but like ever since the internet or social media and those kind of things, like I feel like people are emboldened with their keyboard muscles, just to type and say whatever they want to say. You and I, we both, for our denomination, we both work for Peak, and it's a self-assessment tool that we give to churches, where churches send out anonymous surveys and they self-assess each other. And when there's a part of it where we read the comments for the churches, right? And so last year, our organization, we coached 53 churches, so we got to see 56 churches, where we got to see like just the raw anonymous comments.
Yeah.
And I can't help but feel, maybe they would, but I can't help but feel like, yo, you would never, ever say that to anyone's face.
Yes.
But because you have this, you're behind this, anonymous.
You're the wizard behind the curtain.
Yeah. You could just type whatever you feel.
No repercussions. No thoughts of repercussions.
No, not at all.
But I'm sure you'll get into this. There are essentially repercussions because your online profile and what you put really is the first impression people get of you anymore.
Right.
So if that's what you want people to think of you, and there are people within my life that I see their online activity and I steer clear of them.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, that's just not the type of person I want to surround myself with.
Right.
It's funny, because I have Time Hop and it'll bring up old Facebook posts, and it used to be like, I'm going to the gym. I just had a great dinner. Jillian is watching the Grammys.
Right.
Now it's so morphed into, oh, this is awful. This sucks. That sucks.
Right.
I'm offended. And it's like, wow, just the evolution of what Facebook statuses are. Now it's to the point if anyone ever messages me on Facebook, I don't check Facebook messages. I don't scroll Facebook. Every time I do, I regret it. But I'm to the point now, if I'm going to post something, it's for family to see because I have family all over the country. And then I get off of it. Yeah. Or if I have to post something for work, I post it and then I get off of it. Mm-hmm. If I get notifications, I'll check the notification just to make sure no one's popping off and I need to handle it. Mm-hmm. But other than that, it's so toxic. I don't scroll. I don't check messages. I don't want anything to do with it. Unfortunately, I have to be on there for work reasons.
Right.
But because it's
it could be toxic.
But I know we're really dialed in on the social media aspect of it because I think a lot of people have more interaction with people in the social media world than they do face to face. And maybe that's why people are more apt to be critical because they don't have to say it to your face they said. But I'm sure there's other avenues that you want to explore on this as well.
Just go on Yelp. go on, all the people. And when I enjoy, and maybe this is wrong, so if you're a restaurant owner, I'm so sorry. But when I enjoy a restaurant, my first instinct isn't to go on Yelp and say I enjoy the restaurant, right? My first instinct was just to tell people, yo, that was banging. Yeah. I'd go there again.
Yeah. Or I'll take a pretty picture and post it on my Instagram and tag the place, but I'm not running to Yelp to write a review.
No. When do you run to Yelp?
When there's a problem.
When you want to blow up that restaurant spot, right?
Yep.
And so we created these platforms that's why I call it the evolution of criticism, because we created these platforms where our society actually runs, we're running through the gamut of how we rate each other. Think of Uber drivers, think of Uber passengers, think of, we rate each other constantly. And my hope is, at least my only hope for this podcast is for us to just take responsibility and take a beat before you criticize. Because let me draw this line too, because especially in our world, we're doing a lot more coaching. There's a huge difference I was just in a podcast a few months ago, and they kind of checked me because I was talking about criticism on that podcast. And the one girl that was on there, she was a psychologist, and she goes, not all criticism is bad. If you're functioning off of the definition of critiques, right? Yes, I totally agree with you. I think let me throw in this disclaimer. I think good leaders are good listeners.
Yes.
To listen to critiques is huge.
Constructive criticism.
But when I say criticism now, it's not under the umbrella of coaching, right? Coaching, when I'm coaching someone or they're coaching me, I'm receiving their critiques. Number one, I've authorized them to speak into my life. And they've authorized me to speak into their lives. Now, there is no authority. I say whatever I want to say. Look, let me tell you everything I think of in regards to Rihanna, right? And we're most critical over areas that were more uninformed. Right? And so it's real easy. And I've just learned, the older I get, I learned to take a beat and not judge anyone on the decisions that they made, especially when I don't know the options they had. Right? That's huge. We always judge people on the decisions they make from a distance and not knowing all the options that they had. I'm not even saying that the decisions they made was right, but maybe we'd have more empathy and compassion if we knew the options that they had. And so, again, we just get behind our keyboards, we type in our stuff, and we let it go. And I would love for people to go, hey, if you are strong enough, if you have the courage to tell me your criticism, then you also need to have the courage to receive my assessment of your criticism.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to social media, when it comes to Yelp, you could throw that on there, and the company can try to do, some saving, try to save face and say, we're really sorry that you experienced that. Here's a free gift card to the restaurant that you don't like anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's unfair. It's unfair that you get to just say whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
With no repercussion.
Because what do they expect Rihanna to reply to their posts and be like, I'm really sorry.
Right.
I was throwing up all morning because I'm pregnant, but I did the best I could.
Right.
Like,
I did the best I could.
And it's funny, if you look out in the Twitterverse or whatever, you don't see any fellow performers criticizing her. And it's something, I forget who said this, but you will never be criticized by someone doing more than you.
Yeah.
And it's just always true. It's the bottom of the totem pole that's jealous of the top, and they're going to say all the things to make themselves feel better, but at the detriment of that person.
Yeah.
And that's sad. That's really sad.
Right. Yeah. And the point where we get to the place where, and this is what we're experiencing in our society, is that we're just shooting drones of criticism, right? And then all of a sudden, what you do is you only gather or connect with the people that appeal to the way you criticize the world. Mm-hmm. And so you think now you're with your people, right? These are all the people that think this way, and these are all the people that think that way. And what we're seeing is just more divided lines in our society.
And more small-mindedness.
And so and again, it's really easy to criticize when you don't know enough about the problem, right? So we don't know enough about the problem. Or it's also easy to criticize, too, when your criticism is based on your hindsight 2020 perspective of the issue, right? There are tons of things I look back on my own life and go, I would have done that a little differently.
Yeah.
But it's not fair. You weren't with me in the struggle to make that decision. Yeah. And for you to go, oh, you should have done this. Well, duh, I feel that same way too, but it's real easy for you to say when you weren't in the fire with me in that. You know what I mean? So I just wish that people just took a beat before they criticize, before they said anything. Because we're all portraying this imagery of that we're the experts of each other.
Yes.
When we don't know each other.
Yeah.
And that's sad.
And piggybacking off of what you just said, you weren't there with me, you didn't know. You also experience criticism sometimes when someone has a different capacity as you do. So this past month, for example, you've been traveling a lot, coaching and training and stuff like that. And a handful of people came to you like, you know what, Mike, you're traveling a lot. You need to calm down, And just because their capacity can't handle that, you were fine. Were you a little tired because you had to take a red eye home? Yeah. But you're actually enjoying what you're doing.
Absolutely.
You're reaching people, you're speaking life into people. So just because it's a little travel that just all happened to land in 1 month doesn't mean that you can't handle it, but people are very quick to be like, oh, you shouldn't do that.
Right.
That's too much for you.
Right.
You should stop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they almost, and then you're right. When they criticize you based on their limitations, right? If you really, again, let's draw the line between criticism. Are you a critic or you're a coach in my life? And that's the other thing. Critics, you don't give advice. You just point out what's wrong.
Yeah, it's not helpful advice.
Right.
It's not, hey, I see that you're traveling a lot this month. I would love to help you. I work with people and managing time and stuff like that. Could there have been a better way? I would love to be available for you. And then your response would be, no, it just happened that way. You know what I mean? But no, it's, you shouldn't do that. And it's.
Right. The way I would define it is criticism is based on your assumptions. True, pure coaching is based on questions. Yeah. Right? I'm asking you questions. Hey, tell me about your capacity. I wish the person that came up to me you're traveling too much. I wish they would have asked, hey, are you enjoying it? Yeah. Does this really fill up your tank? What parts don't you enjoy of it? You know what I mean? Or do you feel overwhelmed or whatever? No, the only time I feel overwhelmed is when there's a curveball, when there's a ice storm in Dallas. You know what I mean? Other than that, I adore what I'm doing. Right?
Yeah. And with that, reverting back to the halftime performance, hey, Rihanna, what was your goal for this? Oh, that's right. You can't talk to her because you have no say in her life. So maybe keep it to yourself. It just wasn't your preference. And that's okay.
Right.
But like, why do we have to broadcast that?
Right. I sound like the biggest old fart in this episode. Go back to the days where it's like, if you don't have anything nice to say.
My mama told me, just keep your mouth shut.
Right. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Someone just told me today, they were just like, somebody came up to them and they were like, oh, is that a new person? They were like, yeah. I was like, I don't like it. What was the purpose? What was the purpose of that statement? Right. Yeah. Like, but again, I think we live in a society where we're just continually flexing our muscles. Just like, judge the person from a distance.
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean?
Why do you have to open your mouth?
Always.
Not everything you say carries value or is important, and that's okay. And we need to be okay with that. But I think a lot of people are very insecure and they're unhappy and they're jealous and they just feel the need to just say whatever comes to mind, whenever it comes to mind, to anyone who will listen.
Right.
And it's so toxic.
It is very toxic. And it's a waste of energy.
Yeah.
Can we just call that out?
Yeah.
Like, I think it's a waste of energy to hate someone you don't know. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what we do. I don't like Rihanna. I heard somebody said it last night at the house. I don't like Rihanna.
I think it was my dad. And then he goes, oh, I know this song.
Yeah, I don't like Rihanna. You don't know Rihanna.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and again, I'm not advocating for everything Rihanna. I don't know her either.
Yeah.
I don't know her enough to love her, and I don't know her enough to hate her.
I admire her craft.
Right.
I admire her talent. And like, good for her.
Right.
Like,
I wouldn't even have 12 hits to sing at post Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like halftime Super Bowl show. Like, I just wouldn't.
Yeah.
But I would just, man, if you're listening, just catch yourself real quick. Like, just the simple question of, is this building, edifying, challenging someone to be better?
Say that a better way. Edifying. Not everyone's going to know that word.
Is this building somebody up?
Yeah.
Are you adding to someone's life, or are you just interested in taking away from somebody's life?
Yeah. Yeah.
That simple question. Mm-hmm. Are you adding to their life, or are you taking away from it? Mm-hmm. And again, and what we do, I experience, it's outside of social media, so at least they directly email me. Unwarranted, but they directly email me and give me unsolicited advice. And again, good leaders are good listeners. I don't reject it. I do highly consider what they say. Mm-hmm. But the hard part is, again, it's easy to throw. There's no such thing as a simple solution to a complex problem.
Yeah.
And when you don't know enough about the problem, it's easy to speak into it, right? Mm-hmm. And nor do I have, let's be honest, nor do I want the space to break down every issue that I'm trying to address as an organization to someone who doesn't understand it.
And sometimes you're also valuing someone's privacy at the same time.
Oh my gosh, yeah, because I could tell you more about this problem, but I'm going to be violating someone's confidentiality. Mm-hmm. And that's something that church people don't understand.
Yeah.
You should have done this. You should have prayed for this person sooner. Yo, I know this person and they're petrified and they don't want to be prayed for in front of the whole congregation, right? So like taking those beats and just like they're just so quick to criticize. Be slow to speak. Yeah. You know, our Bible says to be slow to speak, but we're real quick to criticize. You know? And again, this is not just protecting us. We fall short in this area too. Like, you know, we don't type it out, but like even when you and I are alone, I'm like, oh, that person should have da 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 da. For us to catch ourselves and be like, yo, like if we really care, we ask more questions. Yeah. And discover what was behind that decision. Yeah. I want to start doing that even more with our boys. Like we just quick to jump to, and that's the other thing. If you're quick to jump to correct someone, sometimes you're correcting someone's character, right? You're judging their character just solely based on the decision, and how unfair is that? Yeah. Right? Where I think if you shift to the mindset of like, okay, let me just correct the behavior first. But again, in a world of criticism, we jump to their character. Yeah. You did this because you're a crappy person. Yeah. You didn't just make a crappy decision. Yeah. You did this because you're a crappy person. And then wonder why so many people are struggling with their mental health. Come on. I'm preaching better than you're listening right now. Right or wrong. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And so just take a beat. That's my advice. You got any advice for people who are criticizing?
Just stop.
Just stop. Knock it off.
Yeah. And we're like you said, we're no better than the next. Like we have our critical moments. And I know we've caught each other at times. Like you said, we'll be in the car and we'll be driving, and I'll throw you under the bus since I put myself on the couch last episode. You are in like a really negative mood and you're critical about a lot of things and you're spiraling and all that. And I like pause for a second. I let you get it all out. And then I say, okay, but tell me what happened right today. Tell me what's good today.
Yeah.
Tell me what you're looking forward to tomorrow. Like those things. So if you're catching yourself in a critical moment, stop and look for the hearts. Yeah. Mel Robbins talked about this in her podcast. Look for the hearts. Look for the good things. And it's amazing. Like you can, you say this a lot. You can replace frustration with compassion. You can like just look for the good, then I'll get toxic positivity. No, sometimes you just need to change your minds, like because it's really toxic when you're constantly negative or melancholy or whatever. Sometimes you need that push for the good. Yep. So replace that criticism with something good. Like, okay, you didn't like Rihanna's performance. Good on you. That's fine. But like, hey, she's a pregnant woman, like doing a halftime Super Bowl performance. Good for her. Like that's awesome. That's something to be impressed with. Yeah. So.
Also, I'll put myself out there even more, deeper under the bus. I want to make sure I get all the tire treads on me. There's sometimes I justify my criticisms by saying, yeah, but what I'm saying is truth, right? And I think there are always some truths to every complaint that I have, but not every complaint that I have is true. Yeah. Right? And it's like, so to recognize that some people are like, yeah, you're not talking about me because like what I'm saying is truth. You could be right about, we say this through coaching a lot. You could be right about your current observations, but still be wrong in your assessments. Right. Yeah. And so, I noticed, I could sit there and say, well, I noticed you're wearing, sweatpants and a hoodie today. You must be depressed. Right?
No, I just didn't feel like getting dressed today.
Right, but I'm right in my observations. You are wearing sweatsuit today, but that doesn't mean you're depressed. You know what I mean? Yeah. And me putting it together, well, the Eagles lost last night, and the this and the that, and you must be depressed. I'm right in my observations, but I'm still wrong with my assumptions. Yeah. Sometimes I think that's the same thing with my criticisms, and maybe, hopefully, if you're listening, and that's a light bulb moment for you where you go, oh yeah, I need to stop even at that moment. You could be right with your observations. There's some truth to your complaint, but not every complaint is true. Yeah. Yeah. So knock it off. That's the best advice we have for you today. Knock it off. Let's help make the world better, and we'll keep on doing this if you keep on liking it. I would love to hear some more responses. Like we're getting a lot of responses, but I would love to hear some more responses on the material that we're putting out. Hopefully it's helping people.
One response we got: do I drink this whole 40-ounce cup?
Oh yeah.
My goal is to drink 3 or 4 of them a day. It's crazy. I always do at least 2. So yes.
Which is the worst while she's traveling, by the way, because it's constantly going to the bathroom. Yeah. Well, which doesn't help.
It's for my good.
It is for your good.
But we will be back next Wednesday with another episode. For now, you can check us out on Instagram at Mike Rosato at Jillian Rosato, TikTok at Mike Rosato at Jillian.Rosato. Be sure to subscribe, share it. Give us a thumbs up on the YouTube video if you want to see our smiling faces as we do this. And yeah, we'll be back next week.
Next week.
Too real. Guys. Bye.
Peace.